follower numbers don't really count. I often quote the fact that Drake has about 110 million social followers, yet U2 has 7 million, Guns N' Roses has 8 million, and Depeche Mode has about 9 million. Yet U2's last tour generated $225 million.
Wow.
Guns N' Roses generated $185 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Mode, I think, was very similar. And Drake's last tour generated 45 million. So
Wow.
it's the number of followers don't necessarily mean fans.
Hey, this is Derek with the Make It Fun Island podcast. I'm here with Kevin Brown from Fan Circles, and he's in London. I'm in Seattle, so we've got quite a time difference between us. So welcome to the show, Kevin. Great to have you on.
Great, Derek. Nice to meet.
Yeah, I've been very excited to talk to you, honestly, because I really love the concept of what you're doing with Fan Circles, which is a dedicated artist branded app. And, you know, when I started thinking about super fans, and I thought that concept immediately came to mind. And then, like, I don't know, a couple weeks later, I found that you guys were already doing it and doing it very well, by the way. So tell me a little bit about your background and how you ended up creating Fan Circles. What led you to it?
No, yeah, interesting question. There's not many companies doing what we do yet. I think what's quite interesting is when I speak to music artists about this, it's always what they've already imagined, the platform that is branded as them and is not another layer on top of their brand. And I think that's the biggest problem with the industry at the moment is people like to build platforms. And within those platforms are multiple things, whether that's Facebook with multiple pages or whether it's an artist platform with multiple artists, and ultimately, and that goes for Spotify too. I think what the artist wants is something that's theirs, not somebody else's.
Right.
And I think that led, because of my background both in tech but also music management, led into building a platform that could be replicated for multiple artists. And as a manager, you're always backstage. You're not the person on stage. So naturally, a platform should be about the artist and not the tech or the manager behind that. So it was always, you know, the thing that sells is the artist. That's it.
And that's the ultimate connection too, right? Is the fan directly to the artist and feeling like there's no middleman or middle layer there. And that's what your app does.
Yeah, when you think of some of the subscription platforms out there, I mean, including YouTube with its paid level, and Twitter with its or X with its subscription level, and various times that Facebook have launched gated content. None of it's really done very well, which is interesting because you would have thought it would have done. You could argue, I guess, that Twitter's done okay. But the majority, I believe, and I don't have any stats on this, but the majority of the revenue that goes to Twitch influencers comes from the fact that as an Amazon Prime member, you get, I think, 1 or 2 free memberships to pay towards Twitch users. It's quite interesting that generally speaking, platforms that are within platforms don't work too well, which is why I think YouTubers use external platforms. It's the reason that Patreon works well, School works well, various other platforms like that work well. But that's not necessarily what works for every kind of influencer or comedian or musician or even television show. So we
Mhm.
build apps for all of the sort of entertainment sectors.
Okay, so you're going beyond music, so it's really for any kind of creator, content creator that wants to have a direct to fan
Absolutely.
relationship.
Yeah, I mean, for example, we run a platform for the UK equivalent of, I think it's called Ghost Hunters on Disney.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
And they were on TV, I think, for about 18 years on Discovery Channel.
Mhm.
And after that fell off of their radar after about 18 years, they weren't quite sure what to do. Launched the platform, they released the show in our or in their branded
Oh,
app,
yeah.
and
Oh,
actually
cool.
generate more than what they were generating from Discovery Channel per episode.
Oh, interesting.
Uh,
So is that through like a subscription model inside the app? Like how are they generating
yeah,
that
yeah.
revenue?
Again, I think it's important to put free users and paid users in the same place because then you've got the upgrade routes.
Mhm.
But yeah, and in essentially a paid platform where you can watch and stream either live streams from them, sometimes
Mhm.
from their home, sometimes from a scary place, uh,
Mhm.
and also full TV shows. And you've got a community of people that love ghosts, so the perfect kind of place you want to go and talk about ghosts.
Yeah. So then what other kinds of content are you seeing that creators are providing in the app, in their apps?
Yeah, again, I think an interesting point about an app is that we don't tend to concentrate on content as much as benefits because there's always a lack of content from everybody. There's so much that you have to do as a content provider, as an
Mhm.
influencer we try to sort of say, well, okay, if you've got the benefits of being a member, then that should actually be the core reason to join a fan club or whatever you want to call that.
Mhm.
Those being early access to tickets, meet and greets, early access to merch, all kinds of things like that. But along with content. But if content's the driver, then eventually it's another channel the influencer has to think about and generate
Right.
more content for. So I think, joining a fan club isn't necessarily just about content, it's about the benefits that come along with that. So we often bundle exclusive merch together with membership, for example, and
Okay.
pre-sale tickets and pre-sale merch. We're working with a rapper at the moment that always sells out his merch. um,
Mhm.
it's not live, so I can't say who it is, but they're relatively big. And their match sells within sort of 24 hours. So
Mhm.
the window will be a 24-hour window that only fan club members can purchase before it's on general sale.
Oh,
So
I
they're the
see.
kind of
Okay.
benefits that drive a fan club
Mhm.
traditionally and now through a digital fan club.
Yeah. Okay. So that brings me to another side of the business then. So, like, if you're, say, a ticketing agency or any kind of like other music tech platform and you'd like to fit into or plug into fan circles, do you have those kind of partnerships available or the concept of like a plug-in to fan circles? Like, how does
Yeah,
that work?
it's a really important one. If you're looking and speaking to if you want to call it a legacy artist, an artist that may have been on a label, for example, and now isn't with a label, it's very possible that some of their albums are owned by the label and
Right.
can't be integrated within the audio player, which
Yeah.
works similar to Spotify, for example.
Mhm.
So they can stream directly from a DSP like a Spotify or an Apple Music. But if later on, of course, when they've left the label and they own the material, the gain or the future material, that can be streamed directly. So we recently had an artist that, in fact, only 2 days ago launched with us, a rapper out of um, LA, I believe. His album is only available to stream via his own app. So
okay, yeah.
so you can stream an album and gate that and make it only available to paid members. This particular artist has, I think, 3 tracks that anybody can play, and the rest are locked to only premium paying subscribers. So already, as a small artist, he's not particularly a big artist. This one, already over 100 people subscribed at $99 a year.
Yeah, there you go.
That's 10,000.
Yeah, that's probably a couple years of Spotify streaming, right? Or a few, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you think 10 million plays probably generates about $17,000 if you're not with the label,
right?
That's a lot of plays. I mean, to generate any kind of income. I mean, the likelihood of getting 10 million plays on the streaming platform is pretty low for 99.7% of all artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I like to tell not only creators but even small businesses too, like when you think of the role of an app kind of in your ecosystem, I think of it as the bottom of the funnel, right? To get people all the way down. I call it the modern version of a membership card. Right?
I think
like it's you're literally the card carrying member fan, right, of that artist or creator.
Yeah.
And then once that app is installed, you're going to like my next question. It's a softball for you. Is that you can send them push notifications direct to their phone.
Absolutely.
Bypassing spam filters and everything. It's a direct to the individual kind of mechanism. So tell me more about that feature within your app, because you guys have even kind of made it super gave it superpowers kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess this is where it kind of splits into two different services that we provide. But the full app solution, I mean, one of the questions that comes up every time is, well, I've got a lot of apps on my phone, but my notifications are switched off. But there's only really one reason to have notifications on your phone, and that's for timely things, news, live broadcasts. Part of our platform allows the artist to go live from their phone on the road, wherever they are. And that's the reason people switch on notifications. Now, you don't want to miss a live broadcast from your favorite artist. And that is a direct route, of course, to reach all of your fans whenever you want, which is a lot easier in terms of, you've got to be careful with the mailing list, haven't you? I mean, you can maybe use it twice a month, maybe.
Right.
And if you overuse it, it's you kill it dead.
Yeah.
And you can't just spin up a one-liner or a new video or a new live broadcast and mail out to your fan base. It's not quite enough. So it's kind of, well, what do you do with that? So notifications are great. I mean,
and I feel like emails are hard now too. It's hard to get people to sign up for emails. Like, who wants more email? Right, when we're all getting so much spam email. And a lot of, like, when you look at, say, like retailers and things like that, they're just bribing people now with, like, when you launch the site, hey, get 10% off your first purchase and put your email in. So like it's a whole different ball game, I think, when you're a content creator and you're trying to get emails. It's just a higher, a steeper hill to climb.
Absolutely. I think it's a really, I mean, that actually led to a product launch that is just coming up at the moment. And it may even be live by the time this video goes out. I'm not quite sure. But our main sort of product that we've been running for the last 7 years, with over 100 artists in there, artists from Robbie Williams to Boy George to country artists called Cody Jinks through to
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily the cooler artists, but the ones with fan bases. Because there's a hell of a lot of artists out there with a fan base that aren't seen as industry cool, if you want to call it.
Right. Yeah.
But
I'd rather have the fan base, by the way.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
nobody can take that away from you. Yeah.
Follower numbers don't really count. I often quote
Yeah.
the fact that Drake has about 110 million social followers, yet U2 has 7 million, Guns N' Roses has 8 million, and Depeche Mode has about 9 million. Yet U2's last tour generated $225 million.
Wow.
Guns N' Roses generated $185 million.
Yeah.
Mode, I think, was very similar. And Drake's last tour generated 45 million. So it's the number of followers don't necessarily mean fans. And I think that's
exactly
a factor in all of this. So our main product is a sort of custom build. So it works for artists playing more than sort of 1,000 capacity rooms. But then you've got the other smaller artists, which are equally as important to the whole ecosystem, and influencers of all kinds that may not need a whole platform, but might want to be able to push notifications directly on maybe uploading a video to YouTube, on selling merchandise, on a new song being released on Spotify. Now, if you can do that without a mobile app and just push that through a QR code on your screen that's on YouTube that people can scan or click a link and add that to your wallet, which then allows notification passes or notifications to be pushed to you that can go directly to Spotify or YouTube or anywhere. Then you've got at the moment internally we call it the MailChimp killer.
Okay.
not that I think it replaces email. I think it complements email.
Yes. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So the feature you're talking about is what you guys call notification passes, right? And the idea is, like you were just saying, you can scan a QR code, or the fan can scan the QR code, and then they don't have to download the app. They just get a lightweight pass that's deposited in their iOS or Google wallet.
Right.
And then once you have that there in your wallet, then now you can actually use the Fan Circles dashboard to send push notifications.
And know where exactly your fans are from, down to city level analytics, click through to sale conversions. So if you're selling merchandise, who's clicking the notification, where are they in the world, how much are they spending in the shop, how many clicks are going through to Spotify, how many clicks are going through to YouTube, and of course you're reaching 100% of people rather than being kind of lost a lot in the crowd of social media pushers, which of course, one thing I noticed on YouTube is you can have the bell switched on and subscribe, but you don't always get the notification. And
that's an interesting phenomenon,
it really is.
right?
Yeah. I miss so much because of that. And this can solve that problem. So, our entry level on this is a similar kind of thing to MailChimp as well. So, a starting price of just less than $20 a month. Have all that data that you own, and you can to your fans and followers whenever you want, and monitor and know exactly who these people are. So again, it's all about direct to fan, and it's all about ownership of data, and a direct relationship with a fan rather than a platform sitting in the middle with the guardrails that mean that you can't quite reach everybody you're trying to reach.
Right. And you know nothing about them or very little.
Absolutely. That's the issue. And I think, what happens, for example, I often think on Spotify, um, a lot of music disappears from Spotify. It's just no longer there, and
Yeah.
it was part of your playlist.
Yeah.
Platforms can disappear, and it's
Mhm.
sometimes it's difficult to remember things like MySpace was the thing before Facebook, and then it just wasn't. It had gone,
Yeah.
and that still can happen. And I think along with the fact that even TikTok potentially could just disappear from the US. What do you do in that situation? You've built a fan
Right.
base.
Yeah.
It's a little bit scary that you could just lose everything overnight. So
Yeah.
having that direct connection is, I think,
Yeah, I feel like a lot of young artists that I've talked to, they discount that, that fan building aspect of their careers because they're relying on social so much, or that
yeah.
they can just stay at home in their bedroom and make videos and do some live streams and stuff. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do that, but like you said, you're subject to the algorithm and the platform at that point. But when you play a live show, like suddenly, people have a personal investment because they took the time to come see you.
Yeah.
And then if you can get them to do something like download an app or QR code to get the push
QR code
notification
at the
past.
merchandise desk.
Yes.
You've got
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're really winning, because now you're really identifying the people who really care about you,
Yeah.
and then you're creating the real fan movement. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's an entry level into direct to fan, and I think it
Mhm.
then lead to the fact that then you can monetize
Mhm.
fans via the fact that you've got that direct relationship. And I think often sort of monetization of fans is I don't know if the word is frowned upon, but
Mhm.
it's used differently by the record labels, for example, than what it would be by managers.
Mhm.
Record labels think, well, yeah, let's just pump out another few vinyl reissues and make
Mhm.
several different colors until the fan is completely burnt out and has no money left. But I don't think that's the way that a manager would see that, or an artist would see that. I think they would think, well, I've got demos of albums that I've never put out. I've got songs that were never released. I've got videos that never quite made it. I want to do a live broadcast
Mhm.
and chat to my fans and all of these things. And on top of that, the ability to offer fans early access on merch and tickets, which is
Mhm.
essential,
Mhm.
can generate fortune. An artist we recently launched generated 8,000 subscribers within 48 hours at $65 a year,
Oh, wow.
bringing in $520,000.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's a great testimonial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any, so I'll ask you a harder question. So do you have any worries about kind of like too many artists having branded, like it starts to get more segmented then too, right? Like I think of my music taste and I go, I have like 10 to 20 artists that I'm like super fans of, right? Like I really want to be on top of what's going on, and are they coming through my city, or they got a new release or whatever. So if they all had apps, now I've got 20 apps on my phone. Like,
Yeah.
are you guys worried about that? Like, what are you seeing out there?
No, it's a really good question. And I think
Yeah.
the answer is this, is that basically everybody listens to music. And
Mhm.
sort of, we've all become to measure music by number of plays on Spotify. Yet there's
Mhm.
only ever been around 2 to 3% of the population that ever went to concerts, bought vinyl, bought
Mhm.
CDs, bought the t-shirt. So you've skewed the whole thing by measuring everything by number of plays
Yeah,
in the
that's
first place,
true.
right? So,
Yes.
so that the reality is that most people that are into are actual music aficionados, uh, often only like a small selection of artists, and probably only ever
Mhm.
have one real favorite.
Mhm.
And So it if you don't have that favorite, you're probably more of a music listener than a music fan.
Yeah.
So I think
Interesting.
that's the way that we look at it, and I, just by the fact we have over 110 artists out there, I don't think there's any crossover anywhere in the database where any single user is on multiple apps because if you're a super fan of an artist, then it's very unlikely you're going to be a super fan of another. So I'm not saying there is no crossover at all, but
Yeah.
I think that the times of not having enough memory on your phone to have 20 apps is gone. So
Yeah.
that could have been a question that could have applied when you had 16 meg on your phone, but certainly doesn't
Right.
make any difference
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I think that, yeah, it's your point is well made, because a lot of the kind of current research in music, and shout out to Mark Mulligan, Tatiana Cristiano, who've done a lot of this, of like shifting fans from kind of like passive listening mode to actively participating, right, with the artist's career. And I think that's a real great distinction to make, of like, not only do you want them to get the app, you want them interacting, or even like you said with YouTube, you want them to switch on the notifications and then actually participating in a live stream chat. And like, those are the fans that you're really wanting to cultivate, right, as an artist or as an artist manager for your clients. And yeah, no, I love that you made that distinction.
I think even when you look at Taylor Swift, with I think the last time I looked was 68 million followers just on Facebook. She didn't sell 68 million tickets. She sold a hell of a lot of tickets, but of course, not 68 million. In fact, I think that's the kind of, I think I read somewhere that's about a third of the number of people that are Catholics.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So again, follower count doesn't equate to fandom.
Yes.
And
Right.
that's the thing that's got forgotten. In fact, play counts, number of plays on streaming platforms, doesn't actually equate to fandom.
Yeah.
In fact, there's many artists that are on streaming platforms that get a hell of a lot of plays. But it might be music that you listen to as you fall to sleep.
Yeah.
Or
I think they've, or even a lot of people have criticized Beyonce for that, right? Like, she's just on every playlist on everything, and just everybody's listening to her all the time, but it's more of a passive thing.
Well,
right?
Another one that's fascinating to me is, and the story for me was, I go to a lot of the shows because I meet lots of managers, and I was at the Adele show in London a few years ago now, and I'm always interested in merchandise sales, because that to me is the greatest measurement of fandom out there.
Yeah, that's true.
An Iron Maiden fan would tell you that, but also a BTS fan would tell you that. So it's not just older artists. I think that's often confused as well. And I was stood at the merchandise desk and with the merchandiser, and so they're selling. They said, "Well, it's a date night band." I went, "What? Sorry?" She went, she's a date night artist. You come to see Adele, you go for a meal, and maybe you buy as a Christmas gift the CD at Christmas, but you don't really see people in Adele t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
What an interesting observation to call it a date night band, and or artist, and I think that actually took my sort of focus on how do you measure the success of an artist from not only ticket sales, because of course a hell of a lot of tickets are sold for Adele, but really down to merchandise sales as well. So that's the ultimate guide for me. I've got a metal artist that we work with, 2,000 capacity rooms, 50 or 60 shows a year, and I think there's something like 6% of the audience buy a black t-shirt at every show. And
Wow. Yeah.
even though the rooms are relatively small, they're not playing big arenas.
Yeah.
The number of fans that have joined and paid for their fan club is huge.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's even another artist too. Like it was a handful of years back. I was at the NAMM show in Anaheim, which is the North American Music Manufacturers Show. And I think it was the Shure Microphones booth had Alice Cooper appear.
Oh, right.
You know, and you know, you think, oh, you know, rock is dead, you know, and like he had a line going around the Anaheim Convention Center to meet him and get autographs. And I was like thinking, wow, that is incredible. The amount of fandom he's cultivated.
I think, you know, I mean, you can quote Alice Cooper and skeptics will say, well, yeah, but he's over 70. I don't even know how old he is.
Yeah. He's old.
But then also, you know, rock isn't dead because look at Metallica.
Yes.
And the audience there. It's a current audience.
Yeah.
But also you have to remember the likes of BTS, and it's not just a one-off. You know, there's a lot of one-offs if it's a one-off. And you know, it's not an age thing, it's a fandom thing. You know, I often look at what Avril Lavigne does and thinks, well, yeah, I know that her fan base is so loyal, they'll probably wear the same clothes for the rest of their life, but they will also go to every show forever. And it may be the only show that they go to.
Yeah.
So again, fandom there is really strong. Yet you'd probably say, well, isn't she the girl that used to have that song Skater Boy about 20 years ago or something? But the reality is the fan base is incredible.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, and I think, you know, and my message to the artist is like, listen to Kevin on this. Yeah, this is the holy grail, right? To build your fan base. And when you build your fan base, nobody can take that away from you. No algorithm, no platform, right? It transcends space and time in a way. Yeah.
I think so. And I think it's just so important to collect that data. It used to be on a clipboard many years ago where you collect people's email addresses or even physical addresses at some point. In fact, that was how you used to get signed. It was then emails, and now, you know, a QR code can do the same as that and deliver instant notifications. So I think it's a sort of a killer kind of way to communicate, and ultimately, you know, it's difficult as a smaller artist to make money. It's difficult as a smaller influencer to make money. But if you've got the tools to be able to reach the people that really love you, then you can sell them stuff that they want to buy. They want to buy. I think that's the important thing. And we provide the tools that make sure that we don't miss a trick there.
That's great. Yeah. So how do people sign up?
Yeah. So fancircles.com. There's two paths in the website. One for the bigger artists, which is the full service subscription app. And then the $19.99 a month notification pass system that works similar to email marketing or alongside email marketing for any influencer, for any YouTuber, for any Instagrammer or musician. And that's the kind of starting point of a direct to fan journey, I believe.
Okay,
so
awesome.
Go to the website. Or click the link probably that will be below this video.
Okay, too. Yeah, great. We'll post one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for being on. We look forward to you know, fan circles getting, you know, more popularity, more features. Sounds like you have a great dev team too. You kind of told me a little bit behind the scenes about the team, and
we do, yeah.
And hopefully I could stop by London sometime and shake your hand.
Love to. That was really nice to meet, Derek, and enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks a bunch.
Take care.